Welcome everybody to my YouTube channel. If you like the content that you have found, please subscribe. That'll be awesome. Like the video too, and leave me a comment. But I am Colonel Jack Spade, the Jack O Spades, not of, it's O. Anyways, the video here is to discuss medical marijuana research. Why am I tongue-tied there? Medical marijuana research. There you have it. That's better. And it's about an Arizona judge approves medical marijuana as treatment for PTSD. I think that should be, PTSD should be something that should be a part of it for all medical marijuana, for all of the states, that allow medical marijuana, and that once the president signs off on different things as they come along and up to him as Congress passes them, that for medical marijuana patients that suffer from PTSD, and veterans that come back from the war and other things, and people who had unfortunate situations with their family and other things happen to them that suffer from PTSD should be allowed to use it without getting in trouble. It's a plant, it's a flower, God put it here, the creator, whatever you want to call them, So anyways, an Arizona judge issued a decision back on, let's see, which Friday would that have been, because this is a couple days old. So it would have been on Friday, no, I'm in the wrong month. Friday, June 6th, 2014, that an Arizona judge issued a decision claiming that State Health Director Will Humble acted illegally by denying PTSD patients access to medical marijuana, reports the Arizona Daily Sun. According to the Judge Thomas Shedden, I might be saying it wrong, I'm dyslexic. Sometimes I butcher words and names, and I'll be honest with you about it. I try my best, and, so there you have it. Anyways, Humble utilized the depth of scientific studies regarding PTSD and marijuana usage as grounds for denying medical marijuana to patients. What? You're just using scientific studies, dude. Like, you should, talk to people who it's helped and families that have a family member that have PTSD in it, in their family that have used medical marijuana to help them, or whether it helped them or not, instead of just using scientific studies, like it said there. But Shedden, it's not a she, it's a he. It's Thomas Shedden claims that Humble should have listened to testimony from medical professionals who claimed medical marijuana had helped their patients. So even right there in that next sentence there, that had said that the judge said that this director, that he should have listened to people, and not just made a decision based on some kind of scientific study done by who knows who, being paid by who knows who to do the study to say what they said. You know what I mean? So Arizona passed a ballot initiative making medical marijuana legal in 2010, but PTSD was not included in the qualifying conditions. I don't know why it wasn't. It should have. My personal opinion, it should be, when the initiative is there and medical marijuana is put on a ballot to make it legal for each state and whatnot, that PTSD should be one of the conditions, because I, know people that it has helped with their PTSD. When they don't have it, when they're not allowed to use medical marijuana for their PTSD, it makes life very difficult for them. So it's something that I'm very personal about and passionate about, with this becoming something that should be allowed with all states that have it, that have medical marijuana legal. That PTSD should be one of those things that should be allowed for use for it. Proponent, so getting back to what's going on. So proponents of adding PTSD tried to do so in 2012. That was 2 years ago, and then again in 2013, a year ago. Following the 2012 proposal, Humble contracted they contacted the University of Arizona to study the effects of marijuana in conjunction with PTSD, which preceded results of verifying qualities. Humble responded to Judge Shedden's decision, saying, "There is plenty of." So I'm quoting what he said now. What this director Humble had said. He said, "There's plenty of anecdotal evidence that the hearings that we had, one family after the next came up and personally testified that they believed that that marijuana provided relief for their PTSD. But throughout my entire career, I have really focused on using scientific evidence really as the cornerstone of good, effective decision making when it comes to public policy," he said, "and the evidence is not there." What? Whoever you had do the study for you, or that you looked at their study, I don't know. I probably wouldn't agree with the study that you used, Director Humble. If you had stumbled upon my video and you watched the whole thing, I probably would not agree with the, where that came from. I'd like to know what, in this it doesn't say what study he used, in research. But unfortunately, the federal government has a history of making it very difficult to study marijuana, unless the purpose of the study is to determine negative effects. There is a huge thing that's wrong with that statement right there. That the federal government needs to make it to where people in America, that scientists and doctors can research it and study the positive effects. I would hope that we end up having a bill that gets passed and signed by the president to where it becomes legal, to where they can do this, and because it will help out on a huge national level for America if we can do these studies and get things going. Because we're just studying the negative effects. I mean, do we just study the negative effects on the human body? Do we just study the negative effects on air? Do we just study the negative effects that bugs have on people? Do we just, study the negative effects on everything? Or do we study the positive effects on other things? So when you think about that, why is it that this plant that grows out of the ground is not, being researched for positive effects? There's a huge thing that's wrong with that because it is a plant that grows out the ground. If people wanted to research the positive effects of a rose with multiple different ways and the negative effects of a rose, I'm sure they wouldn't run into any problem. But because the marijuana had been labeled, illegal and so forth way back, there's a lot of history there with it. I'm not going to go way back into that, but really, it needs to be. It needs to be studied for positive effects. That enough with the negative effects. We don't need no more research on negative effects of marijuana. We want positive research. We want to know the positive research effects of marijuana. So anyways, in 2011, Dr. Sue Sicily at the University of Arizona was declined permission to research the effects of marijuana on PTSD in veterans. Why would that be denied? In veterans, people who went to war for America because our leaders and so forth wanted them to go to war. Went to war with some place and whatnot, and people gave up their life and gave up themselves for our nation to go there because they were in the military. And now they have PTSD because of the insanity and the horrific things that they had seen over there, that they have issues. And they should be allowed to use it. They should be allowed to have the effects of marijuana, researched on veterans with PTSD. It's something that needs to have a thing signed and a law put into place where the research can be done nationally for America, to where doctors don't run into this issue, and it needs to get going and getting through Congress as soon as possible and get the president to sign it. There are multiple things that need to be done, but this is one, like I've said again, that I'm passionate about with PTSD. I know people who have had it and so forth. So there is a new study. A new study is awaiting final approval from the DEA for them to be able to do the study. So, it'll be interesting to see when the news comes out if that is approved or not. So, a little burp gas bubble there. I didn't burp though in front of y'all. Anyways, like I said, leave me a comment if you want. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, whether you're for or against it, what you think. Like the video if you liked it. Leave me a comment. Subscribe to my channel. That'd be awesome. And I hope you enjoyed this video from me, Colonel Jack Spade, here on my YouTube channel. If you liked it and you agree with stuff that I've said, or you want people to be aware of what's going on there in Arizona and what I think about other areas that should, make sure that PTSD is something that marijuana patients can use, medical marijuana patients can use if you have PTSD as a condition, that you'll be able to use medical marijuana, without it being an issue. So, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, retweet it, whatnot have you, share it on Google and other platforms. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, everybody.